So when is your girls?
Okay, how's the sound?
You already sent the girls the link.
Super much. Well, I thought you were going to get down there. I didn't know. Yeah, that would be great.
Check 1, 2. Mic check 1, 2. Mic check 1, 2. Thank you.
We have about 2 minutes, so we're gonna wait until exactly 6:30.
I can barely hear you, Loretta.
Is that better? Can you hear me now? Thank you. We got about 2 minutes. I don't want to start at 6:30, so. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming tonight. First, let me say thank you to the leaders of St. Matthew's Church for allowing us this time to gather together for our all-town meeting tonight. They so willingly allowed us to use their fine facility. So let's show our appreciation to them by respecting their space. Let's try to do things decently and in order. And I also want to thank Donna Aaron for bridging and connecting us with them. So I want to say thank you to them. For those of you who do not know me, I am Loretta Brown. I am the CEO for the Girl Scouts of Southern Illinois. Also, we have with us tonight several board members. And we have our board chair, Deanna Litzenberg, will you please stand? Ann Hollenhoff, Susan Bowman, Paula Nixon, Priscilla Jacks, Amanda Highlander, and John McCracken, and Amy Williams. Okay. We also have with us tonight, this wasn't planned this way, they were coming to work with us this week, but we invited them to come as well. Someone from GSUSA, Kelly Wiggins. Kelly, are you here? Okay. A few ground rules for tonight's meeting. We only have until 8 p.m. So let's make good use of this time. We ask that you stay mentally present. Listen attentively to others. Don't interrupt or have side conversations. Treat everyone with the same respect you want from them. Let everyone participate. Remember to share the time so that others can participate. Be patient when listening to others speak. Listen with an open mind. Think before speaking. First, to understand, then to be understood. Attack the problem, not the person. Respectfully challenge the issue, not the person. Please silence your cell phones. Please do not record or Facebook Live this meeting. The staff will be recording it and it will be available to you. We ask the media for the same respect. Our volunteers, myself, board members, staff, will be available to you to talk with you after the meeting. The questions that you have submitted, and I have many questions, will be that you've submitted to me. We will hope to address those in the presentation that we will be giving tonight. At the end of this presentation, we will answer 10 questions from you, and we will give you a 10-minute break before coming in and asking your questions. Because of the time that we have, we will give you 1.5 minutes to ask your question, and the board will take 1.5 minutes to answer. We do have security with Roy Stewart, Executive Protection and Security Service. If you are asked more than twice to not be disruptive, we will ask you to leave the meeting. Now, at this time, we have 2 young ladies who's going to lead us in our Girl Scout promise. Ladies, will you please come? Will you please stand?
On my honor, I will strive to serve God and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout law.
Thank you, Mayor Station. What we've been talking about here in our council the last few days, last week, will affect the lives of our girls in ways that are potentially profound. The selling of camp properties and our deficit is about more than just numbers on a page, more than cutting. It's about more than spending. It's all about the kind of future we want for the girls of the Girl Scouts of Southern Illinois. It's about the kind of movement that we believe in. And that is why we are here. That is what I want to talk about tonight. Since the beginning of this movement, we have put our faith in building girls of courage, of confidence, and character. History has taught us that the common thread throughout our history is the belief we are all connected, and thus we must move forward together. In all of our decisions, we make, whether it is a financial decision or otherwise. We believe in the words of our founder, Juliet Gordon Lowe, when she said, "The work of today is the history of tomorrow, and we are its makers." When we do this, each one of us will benefit from those investments, and we will be more financially solid. Now, we recognize that no matter how responsible we are, unplanned events may strike at any time. But because of the oath and our promise to this organization, we say to ourselves, and we contribute to this movement, we are a better council because of these commitments. I'll go on to say that we would not be a great council without these kinds of commitments. For the last 10 years, our council found a way to afford these priorities with the help of our reserves. As a council that values girls, you have borne a greater share of this burden. At certain times, particularly during the periods when we are waiting for cookies to come in, we borrow money to pay for some of our priorities. We understand a little debt isn't going to hurt, or if it's temporary, but as far back as 10 years, this council started amassing significant losses at more alarming levels. And now we have come to realize that a larger challenge is on the horizon. Now, to meet this challenge, we must come together. We must come together to reduce our council deficit. To give you some idea of just how much damage this has caused to our council, consider this. In the last 10 years, if we had simply found a way to balance our budgets, cash flow would not be an issue, and we would have a solid 6 to 9 months of reserves throughout our fiscal year. But of course, that did not happen. And so by the time as I became CEO, we found ourselves deeply in serious financial constraints and unprepared. On top of that, we faced a terrible cookie sale and had to borrow even more money. It was the right thing to do, but these steps are expensive and will add to the deficit that we already have. So that's how our financial challenge was created, and this is how we are here. In order to strengthen, we must come together and restore the physical financial responsibility that served us so well before. We have to live within our means with a sustainable program model, build our reserves and operating cash flow, and get on the path that will allow us to balance our budget. And we have to do it in a way that will win all of our futures. We all know why this is so important. The good news is we can solve this problem, but we must come together to meet this challenge. But that starts by being honest about what caused this deficit. Here's the truth. About 75% of our budget is spent on the Girl Scout leadership experience, whether it be girls programs, camp properties, etc. So any serious plan to tackle this deficit will require us to put everything on the table and take on asset spending in the budget and taking a look at our properties. A serious plan doesn't require us to balance our budget overnight. In fact, we need to make some tough decisions, and they must be supported by everyone. And above all, these decisions will require us to choose a vision of a council that we want to see a few years down the road. The Girl Scout movement that I know and learned to love so well is responsible, and I take responsibility that we have for this council that we want. We are the council that serves over 9,000 girls that bring life to 40 and a half counties we serve. This is who we are. We don't have to choose between a future of spiraling deficits and a future where we forfeit investment in our girls. But to meet the challenge, we need to start by doing so. Today, the board has decided to sell our camp properties, which is not ACA certified. It's an approach that will help us get out of the black hole we are in and will protect our investments in our girls. I've been here less than 2 years, but let me be absolutely clear. I will fulfill my promise as CEO of this council. I will not walk away from this challenging opportunity. Now, in the coming years, if we recover, when our recovery speeds up, our council grows faster, we will make greater progress. As the board hold me accountable, I will continue to watch the spending and increase our adult generated income. This is our vision for our council, a vision where we live within our means while still investing in our girls. I know there may be those here who disagree with the approach of the board. Some may say we shouldn't even consider it, and others may say we shouldn't even talk about selling our properties. And I'm sympathetic to this view. But by doing nothing on the deficit is just not an option. Our year-over-year deficit has grown so large that we could do real damage to our council if we don't do something now to get our finance house in order. I understand the fears, but I guarantee you that if we don't make some changes, we won't be able to provide great program opportunities for the girls of this council, and we will be putting our council in real jeopardy of getting a qualified charter. If we can come together tonight and meet these big challenges to discuss what needs to happen, we can do it when other challenges come. And I'm eager to answer your questions tonight. Our girls deserve and expect that we'll all bridge our differences and find common ground tonight. No matter where we stand with the decision about the board's decision, we should always keep our promise to our girls. And to do that, we can't think about what we want for ourselves. We have to think about the girls of this council. The girls of this council that is going to be our caretakers, they're going to be our lawmakers, they're going to be our doctors, our scientists, who is going to make our world a better place. We have to think about what is required of us to preserve the girls' dream for the future. This sense of responsibility to the girls of our council is our duty. I know that when we come together and uphold our responsibilities, we will keep the dream of founder Julia Gordon Lowe, and it will continue on. At this time, I'm going to ask Kelly Young, our CFO, to come and present more information about our finances.
We have an lady that's had her hand raised still, but I'm not sure. And this is for her.
Thank you, ma'am.
As Loretta said, I'm Kelly Young, I'm the Chief Financial Officer, and I've been with the organization for a little over 2 years. And my responsibility this evening is to provide you with an overview of where we're at now and how we got into this position. So I want to begin my remarks by pointing out that our finances are audited every year by an independent audit firm. This firm spends at least 7 days on site doing field work during the audit, and then another 1 to 2 weeks back in their office finishing up the audit, drafting our audited financial statements and IRS 990s. As always, our audited financial statements and 990s for the past 2 fiscal years can be found on our website. Our financial information is also disseminated in our annual report, which is available at the annual meeting and on our website as well. The board treasurer also provides a financial report each year at the annual meeting. I'd like to provide a brief overview of the financial and statutory this council has experienced over the past 10 years. Loretta and I have combed through financial statements and other documentation in order to truly understand how the bottom line. FY 2009-2010, there was an operating deficit of $232,000 before calculating a large gain on our investment returns, leaving the council at a $10,000 loss. Since the merger and special events revenue have remained relatively steady with very little growth up until FY 18-19, when the United We Lead Gala was launched, which grew our special event revenue from an average of $55,000 per year to $123,000 per year. Product program revenue has remained relatively consistent since the merger up until FY 17-18, when we realized a sharp decline of $300,000 due to a significant loss in rural members. FY 18-19 brought another decline of $100,000. At that point, we did our staffing restructure, and we were hopeful that that process would rebound and surpass the prior year numbers with our product program participation and revenue. But unfortunately, we are projecting another decline of approximately $75,000 for this fiscal year. The good news is, as of today, we're at 94% for our package goal. Each year, the cost of goods sold price we pay to Little Brownie Baker increases for all of the cookies we purchase. The council has absorbed that increase and made the decision not to raise cookie prices for 10 years. As you all know, we raised the price of cookies for this current program by $1 per box. When the decision was made by the board to raise the price, they were very adamant that we also raise the amount of true and service unit proceeds as well. This year, we made the decision to order less cookies because of the price increase. We plan to see at least an 11% decline in sales. That's the average when a sales increase is introduced into a council. As an aside, the current year budget is a break-even budget, meaning we won't be making any money or losing money. If you look at our audited financial statements for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2019, you will see a net operating loss of $737,000. This loss is not attributed to any one source, but I'd also like to point out a few significant factors for you tonight. We budgeted for a significant increase in product program sales. That did not happen. In fact, we were down $200,000 from the prior year and $600,000 from budget. United Way funding is down $30,000. While our gala was a huge success, we missed our targeted net profit by $125,000 due to a shortfall in corporate sponsors. Program revenue has declined $60,000 for FY 18-19. Maintenance and repairs on our buildings and vehicles spiked $25,000. We wrote off $30,000 in product program outstanding debt from parents and troops from prior fiscal years. Currently, product program revenue accounts for 70 to 75% of our operating income budget. This is very common among many Girl Scout councils, but leaves us in a very precarious position. Individual plan giving and corporate contributions have remained stagnant for many years. We must find alternative sources of revenue outside of product program. Our total operating revenue has increased an average 1% year over year for the past 10 years, with only 2 years of significant growth being in that we received a $90,000 bequest gift, and the year following the merger when we held 2 PD programs. Expenses have increased an average of 2% year over year, which is keeping pace with a 2% inflation rate over the same 2-year time span. If you look at the financial statements of any nonprofit or for-profit organization, you will find that their largest investment will be in its people. So how do we fulfill our mission each day without dedicated staff to keep us moving forward? Our staffing has stabilized over the past 3 years from a 52% turnover rate in 2016-2017 to 22% in 18-19 and 9% year to date for this fiscal year. Fiscal year 2016-2017, the council had significant turnover in key executive positions, with 2 CEOs and 1 CFO to replace. On average, it takes a new employee 1 to 2 years before they are fully productive. I was hired, as I said, in September 2017 as a CFO. After 8 days in my role, the CEO vacated for 2018. Since that time, we have rebuilt our staff into capacity, established policies and procedures both internally and externally. Loretta has been out in the community establishing relations with potential donors like Ameren, Boeing, and Enterprise. She secured a special grant for $25,000 from United Way. She also secured a Google grant for $75,000. She's pitched to other organizations on behalf of the United Way. This past August, the inaugural United We Lead Gala was held, and plans are underway for another gala this coming August. In addition, stringent accountability measures were and currently are implemented for our staff to ensure the strategic goals of the council are met and are exceeded. As many of you know, upon merger, the council owned or leased 8 properties. Camp Keck, Cedar Point, the Spring Oaks, Wildwood, Butterfly, Chinyana, Torquay, and Wasatoma. Camp Keck was sold, Cedar Point was leased, and thus the lease was terminated. Camp Wildwood was transferred back to Vincennes Indiana Girls Inc. Camp Whispering Oak was sold in 2017, and the board of directors designated the $420,000 in proceeds to go towards much needed deferred maintenance at 3 of the camps, Butterfly, Chinyana, and Torquay. Many of these items were completed on the deferred maintenance list, but did not scratch the surface of what needed to be accomplished to bring the camps up to where they needed to be, and what we were once again faced with surmounting list of deferred maintenance and no funding to pay for it. Usage numbers continue to decline year over year. Camp Torquay is the only camp with growth from FY 17-18 to 18-19. And we believe this is due to the improvements that we were able to make utilizing these proceeds. So GSUSA recommends that councils maintain a minimum 6 months of operating reserves, with 9 months being the ideal. This recommendation is made so that if the council were to suffer a detrimental cookie program sale due to a product recall, large facility repairs, funding cuts, or possible market fluctuations, or any other out of the ordinary event, we can continue operations. Unfortunately, right now, our council is at a negative 9 months of reserves, which leaves us exposed to a crisis situation where we are scrambling for cash. The use of our line of credit is at an all-time high. In fact, during 2020, we increased the available line to 1.6 million. As of today, we have drawn close to 1.34 million. With the sale of these camps, money that is designated in the quasi-endowment fund with the earnings to fund programs for our girls can be counted towards our operating reserves. This is not to say that we would use these funds for any other purpose other than what the board has designated it for. But the fund will get us back into compliance with GSUSA and the United Way cash reserve metrics. As you can see, our financial situation has not stabilized since we emerged. Each year, we continue to struggle to remain even, but on lost ground. The current solution provided by the board gives our council a chance to become financially stable, provide the mission to our girls, and remain compliant with our GSUSA term.
Thank you, Kelly. I'm going to talk now about a lot of the questions I hope that you asked and Kelly have answered when it comes to financial, but I want to talk a little bit about the Long Range Property Task Group. The Long Range Property Task Group was formed for the purpose of making sure that the properties and resources that are available to Girl Scouts of Southern Illinois would meet the needs and interests of our girls and future Girl Scouts. The results of this work was to improve and enhance the delivery of program service to girls. This would be done by not causing any discontinuation or reduction of our services to girls, but to increase the opportunities across 40 and a half counties in Southern Illinois. The Long Range Property Task Group was comprised of community members, staff, volunteers, and board members. The names of the committee members are listed, or will be listed on the screen. From this group, 3 committees were formed: Membership and Marketing Committee, Program Committee, and Facilities and Resources Committee. The Membership and Market Committee was tasked with answering questions. What experiences and opportunities do Girl Scouts of Southern Illinois need to provide? To answer this question, the Her Vision of Tomorrow survey was developed and implemented. Through this online survey, resulting in 274 responses from Girl Scouts and 189 adults, and a follow-up survey entitled Focusing Her Vision. Committee members learned the types of activities girls like and dislike, and their preferences regarding camp opportunities. The program committee then took the survey results and grouped each experience and opportunity into one of the 4 programming pillars of Girl Scouts: science, technology, engineering, mathematics, STEM, outdoor, life skills, and entrepreneurship. From there, the program committee developed a criteria to identify the types of properties and resources that would best meet those programming needs. The Facilities and Resource Committee was tasked with identifying existing facilities and resources available to meet the programming criteria within each council area. Once the Membership and Market Committee completed its work, the results were handed and became the starting point for the Program Committee, whose work then became the starting point of the Facilities and Resource Committee. Each committee played an important role in the series of activities required in the production of this report. The girls of Southern Illinois identified an outdoor program and experience that are important to them. It was identified the facilities and resources both in and around the Girl Scouts area that can provide those outdoor programs and experiences. This is not intended to be an exclusive and exhaustive inventory of every swimming pool, every hiking trail, or city park used for outdoor programming within each service area. Instead, this is to be used as a tool for evaluating gaps and duplication in the properties and resources available to provide the requested outdoor programming experience. It is important to note that only properties which we currently have the needed facilities, the resources to provide the outdoor programming were required. This means that if a property has a lake but does not currently have canoes present at the property, that property was not listed as having the canoe activity available. In the future, supporting equipment such as canoes, paddleboards, etc., are made available. Then the list of activities available at the location can be updated and expanded. Many of the properties in the report are currently used by Girl Scouts. With the insurance and safety improvements having already been confirmed by the Girl Scouts of Southern Illinois. After the Long Range Property Task Group completed its work under the leadership of John McCracken, camps and other properties was identified throughout Southern Illinois and the surrounding areas that is currently available to meet the interests of girls. The Facilities and Resource Committee identified our existing facilities and resources available in each of these areas. These areas were areas in which we just created during our restructure. In area 1 through 4, more than 40 resources was identified. In area 5, more than 10 resources was identified. In area 6, more than 10 resources was identified. Area 7, 14 resources. Area 8, 20 resources was identified. 9, 8 resources, and area 10, more than 15 resources identified. If not previously done, the council is in the process of vetting these resources to meet the Girl Scouts requirement. Now, because we are moving at the speed of our growth, we can only speculate as to the type of Girl Scout experience we will be called upon to deliver in our future. Our organization must be able to adapt and evolve to keep pace with our girl-changing world. We will make every effort to. A perfect example of how we are meeting those we serve where they are at can be found in our campus program guide, which is an interactive online guide for parents, troops, girls to use when searching for opportunities in your area. You'll notice that many activities are scheduled in locations other than our campus. Again, many of the programs listed in the booklet are not being used at our current facilities. The board recognizes the need to preserve the financial value of camp properties while also ensuring the delivery of the Girl Scout activities and experiences. In selling camp properties, the asset value of the camps will remain. Camp assets of the council will be transformed into financial assets of the council. The board has directed that all net proceeds from the sale of camp to be deposited into the newly established Girl Scout Experience Fund. The Girl Scout Experience Fund is to provide direct financial support for delivering the Girl Scout experience. These funds will help underwrite the cost of girls to fulfill their own Girl Scout experience, like camping, like horseback riding, like zip lining, STEM, robotics competition, leadership training, and other Girl Scout experiences. An investment of $3.4 million from camp properties in the Girl Scout Leadership Fund will underwrite the cost of girls and their troops to have fulfilling Girl Scout experience. By preserving the principle of the investment and spending only the generated interest income, Girl Scouts of Southern Illinois will ensure the value of the camp properties will be continued to generate Girl Scout experience for generations to come. Operating and maintaining the 4 Girl Scout camps costs approximately $375,000 annually. The experiences provided at our camps are of the same type of experiences available at other locations throughout Southern Illinois. It is unrealistic to conclude that adding zip lines, rope courses, horseback riding, and other programming experiences at the 4 Girl Scout of Southern Illinois camps will offset that $375,000 in annual operating costs. Adding additional programming activities at our camps will be duplicating activities already available throughout Southern Illinois. Girls and their troops are already camping at places other than our camps, and they are experiencing an array of activities beyond what is available at our camps. Council will partner with service units to provide equipment shares, which will house all the necessary outdoor equipment a troop would need in order to go camping, or hiking, or canoeing, or fishing. The $375,000 cost expenses include staff salaries and benefits and utilities and insurance and equipment maintenance and repairs, fuel, permits, and depreciation. These costs do not take into account capital improvements that are so desperately needed at all of our camps. Just in 2017-18 alone, the council had upwards of $75,000 in unplanned property expenses related to a roof repair, replacement, sewer repair, tractor repair, and plumbing issues. Without touching the 3.4 in principal, a separate investment account funding through the sale of the camps will provide nearly $250,000 year after year to underwrite and assist girls and their troops to have the Girl Scout experiences whether it be camping, whether it be canoeing, or whatever the case may be. But we free up $375,000 in our budget each year spent on maintenance expenses. Now, these are some of the things I have met with many of you, traveled, I have talked with you, you have expressed to me what you are looking for from the Girl Scouts of Southern Illinois. These are some things that we have done this year to meet you where you are at. We've established programs in each area that you will experience. We started all town meetings in several areas of the council. And at your request, the request of the volunteers, restructured the membership and program departments to better support our volunteers. We've increased the adult development department from a half a staff to 3 full-time staff to support the trainings that were so needed. And under the leadership of Kelly Conley Ammo, with Kelly's leadership, I expect to see great things happening in this department. We changed the compass at your request. The council truck is available for your use. STEM truck to travel and meet you where you are at. This year, we started our first United We Need Gala. Now at this time, I'm going to turn it over to our board chair for her comments.
Thank you, everyone. I hope you can hear me. I'm a little shorter than Loretta with the microphone. Thank you all for coming tonight, and thank you for attending. I know you're all very anxious to be here. I know you all have very different thoughts and feelings about the board's decision, but we wanted to share with you a little bit of our vision. The Long Range Property Plan Group was formed for the purpose of making sure that the properties and resources that are available to the Girl Scouts of Southern Illinois will meet the needs and interests of our girls today and for future Girl Scouts. This work was intended to improve and enhance the delivery of program services to girls, not detract and take away from it. As Loretta stated earlier, this will be done by not causing any discontinuation of services or reducing any services to our girls. Rather, it's to increase opportunities for all girls across our 40.5 counties. Camps and other properties were identified across Southern Illinois and the surrounding areas that are available to meet the needs and interests of the girls. The board made this decision to sell the properties to set the future of Girl Scouting in Southern Illinois and to take much needed action to put the council on the best financial footing it has ever been on since 2009 when we merged, while at the same time ensuring the availability of the Girl Scout leadership experience now and in the future. Loretta and her staff have explained our deficit for the past 10 years, even dating back prior to the merger in 2009. This is the reason why we're here. We did not get into this financial situation overnight, and not one particular activity created this situation. The board took this step to move forward and to make sure that Girl Scouts continues here for now and in the future. All day camps and troop camps previously held at Girl Scout camp properties can still be held at our camp properties through the end of the 2020 camp season. If you have reservations already made at the camps, those will be honored. At this time, no date has been set for the closing of any of our camp properties. Loretta's going to try to do everything in her power to work with any potential buyer to see if those camp properties can still be available for our girls in the future for use at a small fee. One of the questions I'm sure you're all asking is, can we keep just one camp? The board talked about this at length and decided it's not fair to keep one camp to help one area of the council while disadvantaging another. We don't want to cause any further division among the council. I've been on this board for several years. I was on the board of a legacy council prior to merger. We've done a lot in the last few years, including since Loretta got here and before, to unite this council and bring this council together. We don't want to cause any further division. We understand that you're all passionate about these camp properties. Please understand, the board did not come to this decision lightly. These board members that are here tonight and those that were not able to attend don't take their responsibility to this council lightly. The board agonized and wrestled over this decision and talked about it for many months. The board members are volunteers too. We're not paid either. We don't have anything to gain personally from this decision. In the end, the board decided that we need to make sure that we maintain and sustain the Girl Scout Leadership Experience Program. This council is celebrating its 100th anniversary this year. The board wants to make sure that we're here in 100 years celebrating the 200th anniversary of the Girl Scouts of Southern Illinois. The board is committed to meeting the needs of the girls in Southern Illinois. Please remember, your board members have a passion for this program too and care deeply about the girls and our volunteers. At this time, we're going to take a 10-minute break so that you can get together so we can answer your questions.
And the other question is, because we only have 10 minutes, that's not enough time for people to be able to speak. And I'm sure that all these people have driven.
Well, the 10-minute break was for
No, but
your group to come together and determine your 10 questions.
we only get 10 questions as a whole? I mean, we didn't have a committee and meet together before we came tonight. I'm sure that there's many people that have questions that want to be answered.
Loretta, I'll let you go ahead.
Loretta, I have one question for you. We went over time and time again of how this council has had so much turnover and change. You talked about commitment. What is your commitment to our council? How many years do you intend to stay to see this through so that we are financially stable and giving these girls and leaders the experiences you all have spoken about tonight?
Well, as I stated when I was talking, let me be crystal clear. I plan to be here for as long as I need to be here. And 5 years, 10 years, whatever the case may be.
Are you willing to sign a contract with us to put that in writing, to see this through, whichever direction it goes? And I know.
You're killing her, you know.
I work with contracts all the time. So it is a challenge to say yes or no to that, but I think that shows us that commitment is there because we have been lost so many times and over and over.
I hear you loud and clear, and I understand. I've met with several of you volunteers, and you said, in the 5 years that I've been in this council, I've seen 4 CEOs. And you know, as I stated earlier, I going on my 2nd year, I plan to be here. I have a passion for Girl Scouting. Just a little bit about me, I'm a girl from a rural area in the swamps of South Carolina. And I understand the challenges that you all are facing. This is why I want to be able to be here for as long as I can. And when I say as long as I can, whether that be 3 years, whether that be 5 years, whatever the case may be. I don't plan to leave Illinois. So I don't know what to say, you know, you're saying sign a contract with you all. I'm here to tell you, I plan to be.
Is there a microphone for the floor?
We're taking a 10-minute break.
We want
Yeah.
Test.
Hey, Danielle, they gave me the mic. Loretta, go ahead and excuse yourself. You know you needed to. Whoever's going with it. Wait. I'm going to let her leave peacefully, and hopefully this remains peacefully. I am Donna Aaron. I'm the service unit treasurer of 207. I'm a volunteer just like you. I can make it through without my voice cracking. No, I'm not. That's my daughter. We have until 8 o'clock to be respectful of the church. I know exactly what you're thinking. Why didn't we start with this? The last 2 minutes that Loretta was talking was the Loretta that I got to talk to for 3.5 hours on Friday. Every one of us probably have very similar questions. We have probably 10 minutes to come together to come up with our 10 best questions. I don't know what those questions are, and I'm not trying to ignore your hands, I promise. But we have 10 minutes to come up with good questions. I know, I've been just like you. I never realized how fast I could drain my battery in 2 days, watching text message after text message, phone calls of what are we gonna do? I don't know the best way for us to decide right now how we're gonna do these 10 questions. As she said, we're gonna have 10 questions, a minute and a half to ask the question, and a minute and a half for the board to respond.
So I think that the board and everybody that's paid by Girl Scouts should excuse themselves so we can meet together and develop our 10 questions.
Can we ask that? I did not know that until I walked in here and talked to him.
So we got 36 minutes. So let's figure this out. We got 10 questions. 36 minutes.
Look, we're wasting time with this at the moment. They're trying to have 10 minutes to have a conversation, and you are not letting us have the conversation to get the 10 questions done. Okay? You are wasting your own time. They can sit there. They are Girl Scouts too. Are we all not Girl Scouts in this room? Okay, I have a question. Look, I just have a question.
No, I want to add to the question so we can stop arguing.
Boo-boo, sit.
Yeah, no, we're not fighting, sweetie. I'm adding, we're starting our questions.
So a question that I have that I would love to have answered is, we have $200,000 per year, 9,000 girls, that's $22.22. I was told in my 4-hour meeting that I would not face an increase when I go camping with my girls. So I want to know.
Okay, is that question number one? I mean, we have more, okay. Do we think that's a valid question to the board? Okay, Teresa, because I know, go stand over there by the soundboard by Amy. I'm gonna have 10 people line up right there so we can be represented.
Her question and ask them. In all of this, it seems that council's saving the money, but they're passing it on to the church. Currently, it costs $40 to do archery at our camp. If we go to a private spot here in Southern Illinois, down the street from my house, it's $100 to $200 for my trip to go. If we go camping, it's $60 for a lodge. Now it's going to cost $800, which is quoted by the person who is running Camp Cedar Point, which is one of the cheapest places in the area to go. $15 per girl per night. My safety wife says I have to have 25 people camping with me for 20 girls.
Valid question?
$800.
Okay, Danielle. All right. At least she knows the complete question. Does she understand the question?
In lieu of the fact that many of us travel for hours and give our time freely, hours each week, since you cannot go past 8 o'clock and give us more than 10 questions tonight, can you please commit to having another town hall at a GS home facility so that we can go past the 8 p.m. timer and have more than 10 questions addressed?
Number 1.5, 10 more, okay. Hold on.
Before we have a meeting, because what they spoke about was not on the screen. And if we're going to have the information, we have to be educated. Because I do not find
Go stand with her. I agree.
finance here.
Right.
How do you even plan after keeping the Girl Scouts running, just wants to keep the girls in it? This is no different once you close the camp, Frontier Girls or Boy Scouts or anything else.
Amen.
We don't like questions.
Okay, stop.
Go over there. She's gonna answer the question.
I don't know what her question is though, do we?
Her question is,
I understand now. I'm sorry, ma'am.
Because Missouri and Illinois sell at the same time.
Oh, do you understand what she's saying? When membership drops, how do we handle whenever the cookie's gonna drop with it? What else? Okay, so we're up to at least 3. I'm gonna go over here because I feel like I'm not, so. I know.
So somebody maybe read better notes than me, but they mentioned a lot about financial and the operating deficit being 750K, and that we're 9 months, negative 9 months. Our available credit, I believe, was like 1 million with 300 left. What is our monthly operating budget? Because we only have $300,000 left to operate. And I really want to know, because when you tend to draw down all of your available credit, you're heading in one place. And that filing freezes all of your assets, including your So I just want to know, do we really only have $300,000 to keep operating this year? What is that? I mean, seriously. Cookie sales were 2.3 million profit on the 2018 financial statement. The salary was 2.4 million.
There's the question.
Okay, we need it. Okay, we got a lot of financial.
Do we want this question?
I just want more. Go ahead.
We can't hear her.
Hold on.
You don't know how to run?
Loretta said that she knew coming in that we had this deficit, we were losing money. Why were we not given the opportunity to fundraise prior to this decision? So we could capture our kids?
Can you add that to your question? I'm gonna still stay over here. I know.
I'm sorry. I really think we have to address the safety situation.
When we go along.
So I actually don't have a question. I just want to throw this out there. The way this meeting is structured is exactly the problem with Girl Scouts in our council right now. The fact that all of this stuff is happening, which apparently is pretty serious, and there is no visibility into it. None of us had any idea, maybe you get some inkling of an idea that there might be some trouble. But the fact that nobody had any idea about this, that wasn't communicated at all, that's a really serious problem. This is sort of by the girls and for the girls. We need some visibility into this. And the fact that we would have a meeting where we are invited to come and share our concerns and have a dialogue with you, and we're given 10 questions, and you don't even tell us about it until an hour into the meeting. I mean, that's a joke.
I want to know what steps the board and the council have considered taking in addition to selling camps, and has there been any consideration, I hate to say it, of merging with Girl Scouts of Eastern Missouri?
Or Central.
Central.
Anyway, do you think that's a valid question? Do we want to go ask? That's not 10 yet, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
This may not be good enough for the line, but they kept saying the vision of the girls and servicing the girls. And I don't know when the shift happened, and I'm not all that involved, but when did the shift become only STEM and leadership? On the website, it says camp is the foundation of Girl Scouts. Camp is a tradition of Girl Scouts. So who decided to take Girl Scouts of Southern Illinois in a different direction? And is it the girls' direction? They get STEM in school, I'm not saying it's not important, but where are they going camping? And if our outreach is to Cahokia and East St. Louis and underprivileged girls, they don't get to go camping either. So, who takes the vision?
Yeah, and what about disabilities who can't do that stuff? Because we had one right over
As
here.
a follow-on to that question that was asked just a little bit ago, when they closed Cedar Point, they told us they were gonna save $100,000 a year. Where is that money in that budget? When they closed Whispering Oaks, they told us they were gonna save money and it would make us solvent again. And where did that money go? It happens over again. What guarantee do we have that you're gonna keep your word this time?
That's number 9. You can stand up, you can go. I know you just answered it, but asked it, you
Yeah,
heard it.
45 minutes,
Oh, I'm coming. This is hard. So my question is, all the money that we are saving and all the sales that is or isn't happening and however it's gonna work. So the money is supposed to go into this grapevine fund. Is there a plan in place already, not just a general survey of other public properties who are willing to have Girl Scouts at their facility? Is there an agreement, a plan, a Girl Scouts who want to do this? Southern Illinois already has an agreement. We're taking on Girl Scouts. This is the fee structure we're going to charge. This fund is supposed to offset that. Is there a plan for how those funds are being distributed to offset it? So it is comparable, equitable across the entire council. It's not $23 a girl, because $23 a girl gets you one outing, maybe. Not with horses, by the way. So I want to know, is there already in writing a solid plan? Before we start removing our outdoor experience opportunities at our properties, is there already a 1-for-1 in place where we can no longer do it at council properties? Here are the 5 places or 10 places in the regions to have that done, established already. Sure.
We are running out of time.
I know. I got 2 girls, I'm trying to get there. Can you speak loud? Start.
Okay, so Camp Torquay, I've been going there for 5 years. So, no, more than that, Well, we have put our money into these projects into that camp. One of my friends built made the entire camp handicap accessible.
We were gonna build a stage there, now we can't because it's up for sale. Our funds are raised, we've already raised the money for the stage. What are we gonna do with that money, like?
And all the other Girl Scouts.
Yeah. What else?
Don't give it to them.
I have one question. Do you want her to ask that question?
Yes.
All right, that's number 10. Ladies, I'm gonna say, I know this is hard. I know this is, you have a question?
So my question who has been to Camp Du Bois? Raise your hand in this room. Thank you. I am also a UCC member. I also have been a delegate for the United Church of Christ, and I can guarantee you, we can't afford this as leaders.
There was only 6 girls for my last year.
And the statement that was made about other camps are being used, I don't know what those camps are.
Cedar Point will be, Cedar Point has been available and has been affordable for resident camp scenarios. Because my daughter has gone.
Right.
Since it has closed. But the boy doesn't have the same things.
And I can tell you that they're not gonna want everybody to have their own campfires at a lot of these other places and where you build them. And I admire you young ladies because I was a Girl Scout and I've been at Camp Shinata my entire life.
And you have other families that are camping.
That's exactly right. And wait, also make sure you address who gets a background check. Everybody in this room has a background check.
All right, we got 20 minutes. I would say Loretta's back in the room. I'm gonna give a woman. You want them to come this way? Okay, come on.
All right, for number one, we have, where are all these girls gonna go? How in the world are we gonna stay in here for 100 years? And how? Girls are gonna get boring. Girls are not gonna wanna do this anymore. And where are all this money gonna go to? Because it's probably gonna get lost. So we are worried about the projects that we have put into the camps. Right now, we are building the stage, and we raised all the funds and put in all these hours, and it's been approved, and now it's nothing.
As well as our friend, one of my friends built the entire camp handicap accessible to make every girl have the experience that we've had. Now, we can go to the camp tab and get that experience.
Well, as I stated earlier, it's not the intention that you would not be able to go to those camps. As the board chair stated, I plan to sit down with everybody that is a potential body to ask if we can continue to be at those camps. Now, we all know when it comes to, we all know that when it comes to the Girl Scout Gold Award, Silver Award, it is supposed to last. And even if you're not there, your project is still there with your name on it. I know.
You ask a question, he's answering it. You don't have to like her answer, but you have to give her the opportunity to answer.
So I guess the point that I'm trying to convey is whether it's at the camp or whether you decide to do your project anywhere else, it still should be sustainable to wherever it is. And your question, I'm going to give you a minute to ask your question one more time.
Okay, so where is all this money gonna go from cookie sales? And how are girls even gonna stay in this?
The money from the cookie sale, as I stated earlier, 70% of the revenue that we can bring in to our council is coming from your cookie sale, which is why I emphasize the importance of adult-generated funding. We need to do more as adults, so the burden is not on these girls. So I understand what you're saying, but we are working every day. And I am making contacts every day, getting out here every day, trying to make contacts to donors,
and asking adult-generated funding to come into our council, because we understand that 70% of our revenue is coming from the cookie sales and product program.
So when the girls drop from this, how is the money gonna go? Because obviously when the girls are gonna drop, that's gonna lower the price, and that's gonna cause us to have less money because of that. Because I know I'm about to leave, and then that.
You're absolutely right. And we need to do everything we can to make sure that you stay. Okay? Thank you very much for you guys' questions.
It's good to see you again. We spent 4 hours on Saturday together. Okay, you tell us that we're gonna get $200,000 a year. We have 9,000 girls. That's $22.22 per girl. I have a troop of 10 girls. You promised me on Saturday, you said it, I wrote it verbatim. You said I would not see an increase for if I was gonna go to Camp Torquay or one of these other ones that you're suggesting we go to. At $22.22, that would give our troop $222. So with that being said, Danielle did a little research. And how are you going to pass this on as a one-for-one? For instance, archery costs us $40. If you go out into the community, it's going to be $100 to $200. If we were to go camping, $60. It's going to be more like $800. We've been doing the research. Since I have like a minute and a half, I just want to say we have a lack of transparency. We have a lack of trust, and that's not okay. I told you that on Saturday. I'm going to tell you again. You guys got a lot of work to do. With that being said, I also want to know, where are we investing this at a rate of 6%? Because Rebecca and I would like to move our retirements there. Yeah. So if you could let me know where that is, that'd be great.
Well, first let me say, when we talked on Saturday, you asked me, you said, Loretta, you explained to me the situation, and, I shared with you my story as well, and I understand, when you have girls that are in need, and very proud, as a matter of fact, and that doesn't want people to know, that they may need assistance. I understand that. And I said the camps that you're going to now, our camps that you're going to now, we don't expect for the prices to raise anymore. So, and I continue to say that because the funding that we're going to be getting, those girls that need financial assistance, we're going to ensure that they get that financial assistance.
So how is $222 going to send my kids to an $800 camp? And how are we going to go more than one time? Because this year I told you, we're going 3 times. Mm-hmm. And we're not even going to touch that $200.
Well, I guess my point is we have financial assistance for girls right now. We have financial assistance for girls right now. If they apply, we will do our best to make sure that they have that financial assistance.
I don't think we've done our best, with all due respect. But since we have limited time, I am going to pass it. I don't feel satisfied with your answer. I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to the next person so we can get our questions.
Thank you.
My question goes back down to the timeline directly. I don't mean to offend you in any way, but I think a lot of us feel inspired by Julia Gordon-Lowe's contributions that she made to growing this movement, and the fact that she wore wilted vegetables in her hat instead of flowers to solicit donations from her friends to grow this movement is why a lot of us give our time so freely. I give between 35 and 40 hours every week to growing my troop, and I think a lot of leaders here give similar amounts of time. And because of that, I think I speak for a lot of people here, the frustrations we're feeling that we then gave 2.5 more hours of our time, some longer to drive up here, be told we get 10 minutes time to ask questions, and we don't feel like they're being addressed properly. Can you guarantee us, with the reason you cited for having to stop this at 8 o'clock tonight being the church use, that we can have another town hall at a Girl Scout owned facility where we can go longer and have all of our questions answered. Because in all due respect, if you cannot do that, because it might go 3 or 4 hours, most of us give more time than that freezing outside selling cookies each year.
I understand that volunteers are the cornerstone of this Girl Scout movement, which is why I spend 4 hours with you volunteers, just a couple of you, on Saturday and Sunday and Friday. And I'll do it again. And as I stated to you when I was coming in here, that I plan to have a town hall meeting in your area. I am here. I understand the commitment that you've given to this organization. But I also want you to understand the commitment that I am giving and will continue to give.
I understand and appreciate your time commitment, but you receive a salary, whereas the rest of us give our time freely. So we feel all the more disrespected when you guys can't take the time to answer our questions, as this will affect our roles as volunteers in town after town. I understand you're coming down to our area for town hall, but we'd like to have a similar schedule to this. Can you guarantee us another town hall at a Girl Scout ranch facility where we won't be kept up on time? In writing, please.
Simple.
What I will say is, as I stated before, now give me a minute, you all, give me a minute.
It's hard to give you a minute when you only gave us 10 questions.
I'm happy to answer the questions as soon as I am able. Thank you. I will spend as much time as I need to in your area to answer your questions, just like I said before. On Friday, I spent as much time. I didn't rush one volunteer that came and talked to me. And if you want that in your area, I'll be there.
For an unkept amount of time.
I will be there. I'm going to say it again. I will be there.
Hello, Loretta. I have a couple questions regarding the financials that I do appreciate that you guys went through a lot of them, but I honestly am trying to read between the lines here to see what the truth really is. So one of my questions is one, I need to know the monthly operating budget because we only have $300K left in our available credit. We've drawn down most of it, which is in order to sign for solvency going forward. Number two, what is our current debt to income ratio?
And then the last part of that is the 3.4 million that you've been talking about. You've said 2 different ways tonight. You said it's going to be not touched as principal for that 200,000, but you've also mentioned that selling them is the only way to get us solvent. If 375,000 is what we need, why is the 3.4? It doesn't make sense if we're so low in the budget. The 3.4, there's no way we're going to use it in both places. So where is the disconnect there too?
The 300 and the 1.4 million, the board made it very clear that the sale of the property, it would go to a quasi, it would go to an endowment fund, not to be touched, but at the same time, securing our charter for GSUSA. Now, how does that work? Well, okay. Well, it goes in a fund. And the interest of it, we won't touch it, it's like we still have our assets. We won't touch it. The interest of it we'll use for girl programming, you know, whatever that is.
But how does that affect our solvency, our bottom line solvency? That you don't sell right.
Right.
Right, but if you're putting it into an account, it's still not going to be cash either.
It is.
But it's not, you're counting it towards reserves. How are you going to say we are not touching this principal to make that $200,000 return to give us $20 for our girl? They're not, it's not connected.
Microphone, please.
Okay. Can you finish the other question?
To answer the other question, it's typical with any Girl Scout council that when you end your fiscal year, ideally you should have 9 months of reserves, because that's the time when your funding's not coming in, you've spent the bulk of whatever money has come in, so that when you reach the point
where, in February, March timeframe, you're at your low point in your reserves. So you have something to fall back on in case you need that. You're not drawing, and you're not dipping into your line of credit. So we're at the point right now, as all of you know, where we just did an ACH pull yesterday. So we have cash flow coming back in. Does that answer your question?
So can you tell me our debt to income ratio?
We have debt on one building, and that's not permanent. That's the only debt that we have.
We're mortgage free across the board.
Except for the line, of course. The line of credit, which will pay down when we start pulling in our ACH funds.
So what is our debt? We have our line of credit, which is whatever, 1.2 million, plus the mortgage.
Right, the mortgage is 80,000, I think it's less than 80,000 right now. That's it.
The annual income of 3.3. What is our income?
Roughly about 3.84 million.
I don't know if I have any time left, but
Use your mic.
I said, it's very obvious that everyone wants to help. We want to fix this. And this is the only way that we're going to do it, is having a conversation and talking about how we can do it. Thank you.
Hi, Larry. So earlier you said that this debt is not new. We've been accumulating debt for the past 10 years. So what I want to know is, if you have known about it for this long, why were we as volunteers and troops and leaders not given the opportunity to fundraise before now? We would have done all we can to get us out of this debt, had you let us know.
Every year when we put out our financials, you know, we always show our financials at our annual meeting, and then after that, we put it in our annual report. And that goes out to all the volunteers. It's all on the website, expressing, and I know our board treasurer has expressed our deficit year after year after year. So, you know, and I know since I've been here, that I put it out, even at every town hall meeting I go to. The last town hall meeting, if you listen to it online, I expressed the debt. And last year I expressed the debt. So we try to put it out. It's not our intention to keep anything from you. We want you to know what's going on in our council, because like you said, you are going to do everything you can to help. But I want you to also understand that the girls are doing their job, and the funding has to come from me getting out here fundraising, you volunteers taking me to where your areas are and introducing me to those people so we can get more adult generated income. I have told the board over and over again, I would love to see that the girls are only bringing in 60%, 50%, but I cannot do this without all of your help. I just can't. So I'm asking and pleading for us to increase this adult generated income.
And this is the first that I've heard of that, and I've been with the Girl Scouts for 5 years. I'm unable to make the annual meetings. I work full-time along with being a single parent. I think you have to spell it out for some people and say, hey, we're gonna lose our camps if you guys don't do this. You have to, spell it out explicitly for us.
Well, I will tell you, I will do everything I possibly can to put it on the table. That's just who I am.
Thank you.
You have a service unit team that meets monthly in every one of your service units, and maybe at some point, the board could come out and maybe express that. I'm not saying the past is the past, I'm saying moving forward, to give you guys transparency, come to us and tell us where we're at and how we're moving. It's not really a comment, it's more of a comment than a question.
Well, I do have one comment.
I do stand up at every, the treasurer stands up at every annual meeting to give the finances. I've done it for the last 4 years. We have had losses every single year. We've sold camps, you've noted, we've had a camp for sale that we took off for sale several years ago because we were begged to do it. Nothing has changed. Oh, we're gonna raise funds, we're gonna do it, we're gonna work together. It's a tough job. This is money we need year over year. It's not a one-time, give us $375,000. This is year over year over year. So I think you need to understand the severity. It's not just today's girls, it's tomorrow's girls and 2 years girls and 5 years girls. If we're at this rate, in 5 years, none of us are gonna be here talking about this. They got their own issues. Listen. We're here for one reason and one reason only, and that is to move forward. Let's try and keep the issue at hand, at front and center.
I told Donna I wouldn't take the microphone tonight, but I submitted a question and it wasn't touched on tonight. I know you've seen it, I don't think they've seen it. So one of the most important aspects to scouting to everyone in this room is the safety of our girls.
It's okay.
A major concern for all of us in utilizing these campgrounds is that direct access to our girls, members of the public. We're all screened, they aren't. Our concerns are twofold, and please address both. The chances of attack, injury, and exposure to situations in public, even private campgrounds, when they're not just Girl Scouts camping at the camp. I'll say this. Is extremely unsettling. I camp with my family often, in public parks and private campgrounds. It is not within our control to screen who camps next to us, who shares a restroom with our girls. We cannot control exposure to alcohol, drugs, or people with criminal records, and we cannot have eyes on every girl at every moment of the camping experience and stay within our safety guidelines. Number two, as we've witnessed in the cases against Boy Scouts of America, the liability risk to the organization following an incident in which a girl is physically, emotionally, or sexually assaulted is devastating. How do you compensate for the notion this projected $3.4 million profit could be wiped out with one lawsuit following an incident to one of our girls?
I see your passion and I see that this is very dear to you. And yes, I did see your question. And I looked at your question, and by the way, I sent the board all of the questions that I had, so they are aware of the questions that we had. To answer your question, we have safety activity checkpoints that we have to follow. And if you're going to a camp, if I have to go and ask that, hey, can this just be, but now we have to decide that we're gonna fill up this camp, and it's just going to be Girl Scouts at this camp. And no other person will be available at this camp. So that's how I would say that we would solve one. Now, as far as being at a camp that someone else close by, I think is the second question that you asked. How are we going to stop them from coming in? Well, I know that we have camps that we go to right now that are not Girl Scout owned, that Girl Scouts go to. And I just think we have to make sure that we are doing our safety checks with these girls to ensure their safety.
So we're limiting the access by saying we can only go on Girl Scout only weekends. That doesn't exactly fit in everybody's schedule. And actually, the second part of my question was, have you considered that this budget, the projected revenue from these sales can be wiped out very quickly with a lawsuit?
if something were to happen to one of our girls?
I absolutely have considered that, and let me just say, there's other things that I've considered when I'm looking at the conditions of our camp. The same thing can happen. I will tell you, there has been issues at every one of the camps that I have visited. I'm laying in my bed late at night, and I get a phone call that a volunteer got bit by a snake. Thank goodness it wasn't a girl. And there's other issues. Also at one of our camps, our sewer system just sucked in a hole as big as a tractor that could go into. It could have been a girl. Me going to the campsite where you go tenting, and the woods so in disarray that I'm walking and I'm scared to death as I'm walking because I'm afraid a tree is going to hit me. And that same week that I visited that camp, something did happen to a Girl Scout at a camp, and it was a tree that fell on the girl. So lawsuits can be that way as well.
For the purposes of this, though, I think we just wanted to address that there are additional safety concerns going to outside facilities that are very, very marginal currently.
I know we're trying to save money. We're really costing girls. What additional steps, I wasn't gonna do this. What additional steps are you taking in addition to selling the camps? And have you considered, I hate to say it, merging with another council?
No, we have not considered merging with another council. And as I stated before, Kelly gave you the numbers, and with my being out there, adult generated funding, I cannot stress it enough. I said it the moment I walked into the store when looking at our finances and seeing that 70% of our revenue is coming from the backs of these girls. Adult generated funding. That is me as CEO and this board getting out and asking for money. But we can't do this without, again, your help. I had someone said just on Saturday and said, Loretta, is it $375,000? I know how I can help you get that. Should we go and I know someone write us a check for $100,000. And I said, no, we have to get ourselves together. And that volunteer still says, Loretta, I'll never forget you saying we got to get our poop in a group. But we do, we really do. We all have to come to common ground, and we all have to help. Myself, I do not have a problem, but going to a community and nobody knows Loretta Graham is not going to help us. But taking a volunteer with me, together we can do this. We can do this. So adult generated funding.
I'm not just talking about funding. What other things are you willing to give up?
Can you give me an example?
We have a very, I hate to say it, we've got a great staff. We've got a very high staff ratio in offices. You know, many organizations run with more volunteers, and you've got a lot of volunteers running a lot of great activities locally. What can you do to restructure how you run the council?
We just went through a restructure, and this restructure was in favor of what the volunteers asked me to do. They said to me, Loretta, we are tired of calling the council office and we're getting this person and that person. We want one person that we can call to answer all of our questions. Well, I told the volunteers at that time, I don't want my staff to have more than 3 service units. Well, it didn't work out that way. Some of them have 6. I want the volunteers to have even more attention from the staff. But I've seen a huge difference in what you volunteers are telling me than when I didn't do it the way you asked me to do it. But because I did it the way you asked me to do it, I'm seeing great things happening. You volunteers have proven me that, hey, you did it our way, and look at what's happening. There has been an increase in a product program. There has been an increase in the cookie sale. There has been an increase in retail. All of these things, and yes, we are looking at everything, and if we have to look at staff, we're looking at staff as well.
Thank you. I feel honored to be able to present the question. I do want to follow up with the other question about being a volunteer, and some of us are not in Girl Scouts to look at the financials. We're not in Girl Scouts to know what's going on. We're not in Girl Scouts to follow the board. We were not asked. I was not asked. I was not surveyed. We have 9,000 girls in membership, and you have, what, 500 answers to a survey? I don't see how that represents the population of the girls. I don't see how that represents the population of the adults. As a volunteer who is not in the nitty-gritty, maybe it's my fault that I didn't know what was going on. But I also know that on the website and on all the things I see, that camping is the foundation and the tradition of Girl Scouts. So the girls, that's what they're going to say. My question is, where was I when the vision that you talked about, you didn't say what it was. You said the vision of the girls. The vision of the girls is not STEM and it's not politics. The vision of these girls here tonight is camping, it's camaraderie, it's learning to do things that they never thought they would do. My 10-year-old still sleeps in my bed, but she can go away to camp and she can rappel down the side of rocks. And this lady here got me in the canoe. They get sent at school, they get gifted at school, they get leadership. Everyone in America is fighting for the rights of women to be leaders. When did Girl Scouts become something? Where was I when we all moved to STEM and outreach? Don't get me wrong, my husband's from East St. Louis. I have friends in Cahokia. I went to church in Cahokia. Our money, according to what I understand, which is limited, is going to outreach. We just hire more people to do outreach. Yes, should all girls get the experience? They should. But our girls sold over 1,800 boxes of cookies, standing out for 5 cookie booths to go to camp, to horseback ride, to not just go do archery for 2 hours, to not do zip lining. They want to go to camp. And so I apologize for my excitement, but where was I when what is the vision? You keep saying the vision of the girls and their future. What is their future? What do you see? What are you saying is their vision that apparently they all agree upon?
All right. So thank you. First off, let me just touch on when you're talking about camping. When Juliet Gordon started the organization, she came and she said women can do more than what America think they can do. And she was a woman of change. And she changed the lives of women in America by going camping, something that we never did. I believe if Juliet Gordon was here today, that she would still be making changes to the Girl Scout movement because of the girls. Now, I say that because we have 4 pillars. We have 4 pillars in Girl Scouting. There is some girls that love that outdoor experience that you're talking about, and you know we are all about, Girl Scouting is all about health and fitness and getting those girls out there to learn those new adventures. But there's also girls that is interested in entrepreneurship. I think about.
I know they sold cookies to go to camp.
You know what you're saying, but there's also girls that want to know about life skills. There's 4 pillars in Girl Scouting, 4 pillars that GSUSA said, you know, we want to focus on. entrepreneurship. There's girls that are interested in outdoor. There's girls that are interested in life skill, and there's girls that are interested in STEM. You know, I look at what our Girl Scouts do, and it's because of you volunteers. And you know, when I speak to people, I say, if you touch any successful woman on the shoulders, she's gonna tell you she was involved in Girl Scout. You know why? Because they believe in what the program does. And our last midterm election, the females that were elected, 58% were Girl Scouts. That's what we do. That's what you do. That's what you do. You build girls of courage, confidence, and character. And we want to keep moving at the speed of the girl. Now, whether that be outdoor, whether that be STEM, whether that be entrepreneurship, or whether that be life skill, we want to move at the speed of these girls.
And will you just tell me who the survey was sent to that you mentioned?
The survey was sent to everybody.
So, could you, at the risk of being out of order, can you raise your hand if you received the survey?
I took the survey, but it doesn't show me on the map.
Yeah.
I took it for my daughter. Sorry. Wanted to get her catch. Yeah. Yep.
What are you gonna do to all the IEP kids? IEP kids that have things that like they have how should alert. I'm an IEP kid. I have how should alert. I can't do science and like, okay, I know this right now.
But you can go out and, yeah.
I can do it. I can do all these things. I
Yes.
can't do science.
Hi, you're taking all that away from her. She is a junior this year and is considering, she's been in there since kindergarten, and she's considering not joining next year. Because what's the point? What's the point? You're taking away what she can do.
Our camps are accessible for our girls with disabilities.
If you only had a few hundred answer this survey, you basically solve the camp on that. And you have more than right now, with kids coming from like, they're just exclusive camp. Way more kids coming from outside of this than what filled out the survey. Why is the majority of people coming to the very few filled out the survey? It actually got sent to them.
Well, we sent the survey, as I stated, to everyone, and these are the responses that we got back. Okay. Okay, we got a lot of questions here. So, what time is it?
8:15. I have a question about the data and the survey specifically. So you said that up on the PowerPoint presentation, that the whole basis for this, or one of the bases for this, was the voice of the girl. Question number 6 on the girl survey, the first survey that went out. What kinds of activities get you most excited? The number 1 response, 71%, was outdoor adventure. In parentheses, zip lining, hiking, horseback riding, hunting, skiing, and ice skating. Hiking was listed in that. Up on your presentation, hiking was not listed in there. How do you know that the top response for outdoor activities wasn't selected specifically for hiking, which is found at our camp? That is the one question on here where outdoor adventure is number 1. All of the other questions on here show camping as being the number 1 thing that girls want to do. Have interested or have interest in doing, have done, or want to do. And so based on that question, the second survey went out. The second survey went out, and there is absolutely no question on there related to camping. It seems to me that going back through the board meeting minutes and the survey that went out, that the decision was already made to move forward with other activities outside of camp. And it doesn't, the results do not reflect what we're moving forward with. The results of the survey show that girls are interested in camping over anything else and what the camps have to offer.
As I stated when I was talking, a lot of the things that you said, with the exception of our hiking, we cannot do with the properties that we have right now.
But how do you know that that selection wasn't chosen And most girls only hike at camp. Most don't go hiking as a troop somewhere else, they hike at camp. The day it doesn't support the decision to move forward with eliminating the camp's already been just others.
No, the camps have not been sold.
So you have to camp, moving forward, let's say moving forward, if we have to camp at one of the regional areas that the committee has come up with all the other resources that should be out of camp, have we put in place agreements with these other properties that offer hiking, camping, canoeing, kayaking, paddleboarding, horseback riding, zip lining, and the rest of the list, where we have a contractual price guarantee, so we may not come in to a $700 camp, but we're gonna pay something more like maybe $70. Is that something that's been put on the table so you can get a contract with these other entities, almost like your health insurance? Here's the insurance.
I got you. Let me just say, we already have a partnership with some camping facilities, and I can tell you, I have, sat down with, the CEO of some of these camping facilities. For instance, Touch of Nature, we have been using that camp for a while, and as well as Camp on the Song. And I have been, at Camp on the Song and spoken with the CEO there. And they are really trying to work with Girl Scouts to help. And again, I am doing everything that I possibly can to continue to get out there. I've been here, as I stated earlier, not even 2 years yet, but I am trying my best to get out and find these facilities for these girls. I mean, you all talk about, the salaries of the staff and this and that. Truly, you all need to know that I am doing everything I can. And this is very dear to my heart because I look at our council and the majority of our council is rural areas. And I take that a little personal because I am a girl from a rural area and I want to do everything I can. This council wants to do everything we can to make sure that they have the activities that they're asking. And at this time, guys, I gotta cut this at some point. If you have any more questions, again, you can email them to me. We'll try and get the answers. Again, thank you very much for your time tonight.
For it. What if we got an operation to pay for it? What do you keep a camp open? We have someone interested in keeping a camp open, set up a trust fund, and they'll pay for the operation.
But I guarantee you probably have a lot of Girl Scouts that are sitting right here that have gone to a camp, like say Camp Butterfly, right? It may not be one specific area, but can't all the service units agree to one where all the girls can go to where all the girls can call it a Girl Scout camp?
What if someone is willing to pay for it?
If we had them, if we had a group that could get the lunch, would that make it done?
Would it take a camp off the
I think everyone feels that it's all or nothing right now, and I don't know if that's the answer, I don't know if they know that's the answer. I'm gonna try to sum this up, I know we still have tons of questions, but I'm gonna say, if nothing else, I never realized that my Girl Scout sisters way down near Paducah, Kentucky, had the same heart that I had up until Friday morning of watching my home blow up. All I'm saying, ladies, they're here to listen. I can give her, she listened to me for 3.5 hours. The last 2 minutes of her whole hour and a half was the true Loretta that I got to talk to for 3.5 hours. You've got questions, bring them to her, ask them to her. She has a soul that I didn't see before that. Has she changed my mind? Am I still willing to fight for my camps? Absolutely. I don't know what the right answer is. I think we all just need to go from here to figure out what to do. If nothing else, I don't think the disconnect between Shadrach and River Bluffs, I don't think that exists any more than I realized tonight that O'Fallon and Belleville Service Unit doesn't really have a disconnect. It's all about reaching out. Until I sat there and talked to her tonight, reach out to your fellow service units to find out what we can do together as a team. I mean, I think between us, I think we can do it, and I think we can help them show a vision. I agree with you. I'm a financial person. I can read a 990 like the back of my hand. Doesn't mean I ever sat there and looked at theirs to figure out what I should have maybe could have done. it is the past. I think all we have is the unity to go together to see what we can do. And I guess if we can get transparency from the board of what we can do, I don't know how you do that. If it's coming into service units, if it's sending out more emails, obviously emails aren't going out though, or we're not getting them, or they're in spam, or they're whatever. But if you come down to that service unit, every one of these service units have a heart. I know people who drove around getting signatures Sunday afternoon. I know service teams that got together Saturday, Sunday, trying to get together. I know our CEO who sat there and listened for many hours to many people I know. So we have the heart. We just need to come together and figure out how to do it.
One, if they, is it a possibility or is it a done deal? And then the other thing is who gets the commission off of that sale? Is it a conflict of interest if somebody that has been